Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money channel. Guys, Bitcoin's top indicators track 13 plus different indicators, and there have been no moves to cycle top levels whatsoever. This courtesy of CryptoCon here on Twitter. On top of this, our parabola signals have failed to generate a parabola this cycle. So it's an interesting metric here, guys. If you take a look at the cycle from back in 2021 and 2022, we did have these parabola signals. Okay, so you can see that here, November 2020, and also in August of 2021. CryptoCon does give some indicators used. I'm not going to go through all these things, but I will link this in the description if you guys are interested. Guys, check this out. March 2024, December 2024, and May of 2025, we are seeing another one. So hopefully we will see more activity to the upside. Of course, Bitcoin has just been sneaking up slowly but surely, guys. This is the Bitcoin chart on the daily, as you guys can see. And after coming out of this bullish pennant pattern, we did see a big move up a few days ago for Bitcoin, and then a lot of volatility here on Monday, May the 18th. So Bitcoin did come out of that bullish pennant pattern, and now it's just kind of chilling up there, waiting for that final push to get above all-time high. So I've just drawn a horizontal line on the chart there, and if I just take a price range tool, you guys can see that we are now only about 2.45% away from all-time high. And guys, this could be, in fact, the beginning of the euphoric phase for this Bitcoin cycle, the beginning of the end, so to speak. But for more information on how I'm treating this bull run, because there are still a lot of factors to pay attention to, follow me at patreon.com/workingmoneychannel. This will be the first kickoff, though. I will, update my Patreon subscribers as to what to expect next once we do see Bitcoin cross that threshold. So today we've got the market cap, guys, that is down only by a little bit, less than 1%. We are still sitting at 3.35 trillion. CMC 100, though, that's up by about 0.24. We got fear and greed. That is at 69, guys. So we are slowly also creeping back into greed. But altcoins have still not taken off. We're still only 24 out of 100 for altcoins. But within the last 24 hours, Bitcoin is the leader. Of course, we have seen Bitcoin rise the most, 0.72% to the upside, whereas, most altcoins are down and in the red, except for a few here like Dogecoin and Tron, but they're not up by much. And XRP, I think, we can kind of consider just part of the pack at this point. It has not done anything out of the ordinary when it comes to, just looking at those altcoins as a collective. Today, one XRP is going for roughly $2.30, just under $2.36 per coin. The landscape, though, guys, in the United States especially, it is just primed to allow this crypto market to move to the upside. This was just in yesterday. The U.S. Senate has now officially passed the Genius stablecoin bill with more than 60 votes, this courtesy of Bank XRP here. And we do have a clip of Bill Haggerty on CNBC from just yesterday about the Genius Act, this courtesy of Amele here on Twitter. Listen to this.
I think it could be even sooner than that. I think we have broad agreement from a policy standpoint between Democrats and Republicans. We had a good evening last night, and I think there are actually a number of other folks that aren't on the bill just yet that will become supportive of it. So I feel very good about where we're going. The momentum is very positive right now. All the feedback I've had since last night has been extremely positive. So we're going to be working at pace this week, Stuart. We might even get it done this week. That would be great if we could.
So they did table it on Monday, and hopefully, as Bill Haggerty is saying here, they can get it done this week. We're going to be working at pace this week to get it across the finish line. As Amelie does quote here, a new era is becoming unlocked. The RLUSD is ready. And not financial advice, also noticing something very interesting and kind of peculiarly coincidental. On January the 6th, 2018, okay, go back to that day. The day XRP did hit its all-time high. Trump did tweet, a very stable genius. And now tonight, he posted this yesterday, the Genius Act moved forward, laying the groundwork for regulated stablecoins. What are the chances of that? Oh, and by the way, when he tweeted this on 1/6/18, that's also the golden ratio, 1.618, the perfect tone setter for the golden age. Things that make you go, but maybe just a coincidence. I don't know yet. SEC Chair Paul Atkins also did send a bold message to crypto holders. So it's a new day at the SEC. That's also setting the stage for a positive crypto landscape moving forward.
I say that it is a new day at the SEC. I'm determined that we return to our core mission that Congress set for us more than 90 years ago. The SEC's three-part mission, as the chairman stated earlier, was enunciated by Congress in the Exchange Act, and that's investor protection, which is vital to our mission, holding accountable those who lie, cheat, and steal. Capital formation is also at the root of what we do, fostering a direct economical route for investors' capital to find its way to entrepreneurs and industry to create products and services. And the third core part of our mission is maintaining fair, orderly, and efficient markets. Congress calls on the Commission to ensure that our regulations balance costs and benefits, that they do not become too burdensome by adding needless friction to the marketplace, thereby undermining the capital formation that yields so much benefit. My time in public service and in the private sector has allowed me to see firsthand how regulations affect markets and investors. They can stoke innovation, facilitate investment goals, and create opportunities or burdens on businesses' ability to compete and to serve their customers. How we implement regulations at the SEC is crucial. It's one thing to write a regulation, quite another for it to achieve its intended goal. Regulation should be smart, effective, and appropriately tailored within the confines of our statutory authority. A key priority of my chairmanship will be to develop a rational regulatory framework for crypto asset markets that establishes clear rules of the road for the issuance, custody, and trading of crypto assets while continuing to discourage bad actors from violating the law. Clear rules of the road are necessary for investor protection against fraud. Policymaking will be done through notice and comment rulemaking, not through regulation by enforcement. The Commission will utilize its existing authorities to set fit-for-purpose standards for market participants. The Commission's enforcement approach will return to Congress's original intent, which is to police violations of these established obligations, particularly as they relate to fraud and manipulation. The SEC is returning rulemaking to regular order. Our comment periods will not be artificially short, and the public will have ample time to provide feedback.
I just want to stop it there for 1 second. Paul Atkins really kind of going over the entire, the new syllabus for the SEC, how they're deciding to enforce crypto. Very different than the old administration, and making a point to really kind of hit that home when it comes to crypto holders specifically. Okay, don't forget, the SEC has reign over the securities market, and really, this is a focus. He's, making this about cryptocurrency and the crypto market specifically. So I think, this is definitely a very big pain point and has been now for several years. Paul Atkins obviously wants to clean this up.
The SEC will also be sure to take into consideration how rules overlap and how regulatory burdens build in keeping with our obligation to consider their costs and their benefits. There will be targeted, common sense reorganizations to come at the SEC. To start, I'm seeking approval from Congress to disband what's known as FinHub. Its innovation should be ingrained into the culture SEC-wide and not limited to a relatively small office. We've begun a process to review our technology infrastructure and our contractual obligations. So to close, we will work with our colleagues in the administration, especially other financial services regulators, and with Congress to bolster the economy and build on U.S. leadership of the global markets. This SEC will take every effort to ensure that the United States is the best and the most secure place in the world to invest and do business.
Making America first again. So great news there. Wanted to thank Altcoin Daily. Also wanted to thank Not Financial Advice, of course, M.A. Lee, and Bank XRP and CryptoCon for posting those. Now that we have a brand new fresh start, it feels like a fresh start, doesn't it? Tony Edwards posted this. A new stablecoin has actually been launched on the XRP ledger, guys. This is StraitsX. Okay, they just launched their Singapore dollar pegged stablecoin, the XSGD. XSGD, okay, on the XRP ledger. So another stablecoin now being minted on the XRP ledger or being utilized over the XRP ledger. They want to meet rising demand for regulated multi-chain stablecoins in the cross-border payment era. And so here we have crypto infrastructure provider StraitsX. They just debuted their Singapore dollar pegged stablecoin, the XSGD. It's hard to, it's not one that rolls off the tongue easily. On the XRP ledger to cater to a growing demand for regulated multi-chain stablecoins supporting real-time cross-border payments. Digital asset developers, fintech firms, and financial institutions can now use this stablecoin to conduct cross-border transactions, settle transactions on-chain, and create programmable financial flows. So basically everything you would want to use in a stablecoin. StraitsX, a major payment institution licensed by the Monetary Authority of Singapore, began issuing this in 2020. The stablecoin pegged to the Singapore dollar is fully backed 1-to-1 by reserves held with DBS Bank, which is a Ripple partner, by the way, and Standard Chartered, which is another Ripple partner and another one of those institutional VC funders, I believe. One of the first ones that helped fund Ripple in the early days. So why the XSGD? Okay, this particular stablecoin is better positioned to see increased adoption in the expected boom in cross-border payment activity in the coming years. For instance, per some estimates, cross-border e-commerce in Asia is expected to surpass $4 trillion by the year 2030. So these guys are getting ready, getting primed, because more utility is coming. And guys, of course, more utility to the XRP ledger just means more demand for XRP ultimately, hopefully bringing this price up sooner rather than later. So this is the this is the waiting phase before we do see that big explosion. And again, if real world utility does kick in by the end of 2025 or even into early 2026, I'm going to be treating this bull run differently. You can follow me at patreon.com/workingmoneychannel for more detailed information on how I'm going to be treating that. You can see the link there is on the screen. Guys, we also got news yesterday of this. So a bit of a blow to Ripple. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse was snubbed by Cynthia Lummis, and he did call for a meeting, maybe a rescheduling through the X platform, Twitter X. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse found himself at the center of controversy this week after publicly calling out U.S. Senator Cynthia Lummis for backing out on a planned meeting without offering to reschedule. Lummis, a vocal crypto supporter and head of the Senate's Digital Assets Subcommittee, you'd think she'd be interested in talking to Brad Garlinghouse, has long been seen as an ally of the industry, but guys, maybe something more nefarious is going on here. Garlinghouse seemed eager to engage with her, especially given her influence in the fact that she represents Wyoming, one of the most crypto-forward states in the United States. So what's going on? Chainlink executive Zach Rines, he did comment, bizarre tweet, if she didn't want to take a private meeting, why call her out publicly? So all this is kind of smelling a little funky, I think. That won't help relations, and why offer an even more public live stream discussion? Meanwhile, Pierre Rochard, yeah, I'm sure you guys have heard of him, CEO of a Bitcoin bond company, said Garlinghouse lost all credibility by pushing for CBDCs and against Bitcoin. Things that make you go, And the Bitcoin maxi narrative continuing to poison the crypto well, so to speak. That's my opinion there. Brad Garlinghouse commenting on this. Okay, heading to DC to champion sensible pro-crypto legislation around stablecoins and market structure. And I'm very encouraged to see our elected officials look at crypto as it should be, a multi-chain industry. That said, though, Senator Cynthia Lummis, as chair of the Digital Assets Subcommittee, canceled a meeting with me and will not reschedule. So I gotta say, it is a little, Brad Garlinghouse, I don't think would come out on Twitter X and post these kinds of things unless something else was going on, I think, and unless he wanted to draw attention probably to something a little more serious, I guess we could say. He goes on to say, as a leader in Congress and senator from one of the most crypto-friendly states, Wyoming, I hope you will reconsider to be a leader of all crypto. I invite you to join me on X Spaces anytime for a live conversation on stage or at one of the major events we cross paths at to talk about how to make the U.S. the crypto capital of the world, as is the goal of the Trump administration. I will continue to do everything possible to support that goal. Vincent Van Code here commenting, it was the BTC maximalism. She likely holds a truckload of BTC. This is why I can't understand how elected officials can be put in such a position of conflict of interest. 24 Hours Crypto saying, Senator Lummis canceling on Brad is peak maxi behavior. Scream freedom while gatekeeping innovation. That is peak maxi behavior, isn't it? So, guys, do we know anything else? Yes, actually. Other things have come to light. Okay, so Puppy is here posting this. The real reason why Senator Cynthia Lummis canceled her meeting, in short, she's a Bitcoin maxi. She owns not a boatload, but 5 Bitcoin, which is probably, he's saying it's probably way more. I'm saying that is more than most retail holders. She bought at $300 back in 2013, so she only spent or invested $1,500 about 12 years ago. She also said she wanted people to hold Bitcoin for retirement.
And Lummis practices what she preaches. She's an investor in Bitcoin as well.
I buy Bitcoin and I hold Bitcoin.
You buy Bitcoin?
Oh, yes.
You have Bitcoin?
I do.
How much Bitcoin do you have?
Well, I only have, I think, 5 Bitcoin.
So only 5 Bitcoin, but she bought them in 2013 for about $300 each. So she can now add a couple of zeros to that number. And Wyoming is in the process of setting up its own crypto banking system that Lummis hopes will become a model for other states as well.
Senator Cynthia Lummis just canceled a planned meeting with Ripple's Brad Garlinghouse. No reschedule, no explanation. So More insight here from Pompeius on Twitter X. Lummis isn't just any senator, she chairs the Senate's Digital Assets Subcommittee, so that's very important to point out. She's helped shape crypto bills, stablecoin legislation, and appeared at events that are pro-crypto, right? She's a pro-crypto voice, but her crypto vision seems increasingly narrow. If it's not Bitcoin, it's sidelined. Canceling on Ripple isn't apolitical, it's ideological. Could she be poisoning the U.S. government with a Bitcoin and Bitcoin-only stance? So Brad Garlinghouse was clear and diplomatic, as Brad usually is. I hope we can reconsider and be a leader of all crypto. He says this wasn't about a marketing pitch, it was about regulatory inclusion. Bitcoin maxis have the mic, but Ripple, Stellar, and Ethereum, they power different use cases and they deserve to be heard. He goes on to say crypto legislation should be chain agnostic. And I think this is exactly what we need, right? We need all boats to rise. Lawmakers who favor Bitcoin, policymakers ignoring layer one diversity, institutions drafting rules that apply to Bitcoin but leave everything else in the dark. This isn't regulation. It's tribalism in disguise. He goes on to say, the timing couldn't be worse either with the stablecoin frameworks like the Genius Act approaching a vote, which we do know that has already gone through. Now is when policymakers should be engaging diverse protocols. Ripple's experience with banks, CBDCs, and international settlement makes it uniquely valuable. Instead, its CEO is being sidelined. The ghost of Bitcoin maximalism has still haunted or is still haunting Capitol Hill, and it's creating blind spots in regulation, so no nuance on use cases, no input from real-world enterprise projects, no clarity on how other chains fit into the financial future, and yet the XRP ledger is powering tokenization across bonds, real estate, and CBDCs. This is bigger than a canceled meeting, guys. It is a warning. It is a signal. Again, this is Pompeius's opinion here, that regulators may be building the future of finance based on Twitter tribes and ideological bias instead of neutral tech-agnostic dialogue. And he says that's how innovation gets crushed before it scales. Final thought, if we let Bitcoin maxis write the crypto rules, we're not getting fair policy, and we're getting policy by exclusion. So we should be very, very leery of people like Senator Cynthia Lummis. Not only that, I wanted to bring up the fact that MicroStrategy is also being sued. And so could this just be the beginning? While Senator Cynthia Lummis pretends to regulate, she's protecting the biggest digital monopoly in history, that courtesy of her son. But guys, there could be something bigger. Hey, Brad Garlinghouse, look into Will Cole, says Cowboy Crypto here. He's Senator Cynthia Lummis' son-in-law. And here he is below reposting Pierre Rochard's tweets. Remember Pierre Rochard? He's been very, very critical of Ripple, and Will Cole has been reposting these tweets. You can see that there with the repost. You ruin your reputation and lost all credibility by pushing your CBDCs and against Bitcoin. This again from Pierre Rochard, originally responding to Brad Garlinghouse. I don't know, seems fishy to me. Bill Morgan also commenting, this is what Senator Cynthia Lummis' son-in-law thinks about XRP. If she has the same views, you can understand why she may not want to meet with Brad Garlinghouse. Imagine the effect on her inner circle and the criticism. Guys, it still seems like it could be an insider's club. Cynthia Lummis could be the rod. Maybe she's trying to figure out a more diplomatic approach to have a meeting with Ripple so as not to piss off Bitcoin maximalists. I don't know. So Bill Morgan commenting, imagine the effect on her inner circle and the criticism. So again, here's some more tweets from Will Cole from back in 2022. This whole ordeal surfaced something I had completely forgotten about. Yes, XRP and Ripple is a centralized joke of a scam. Securities fraud is the least of the issues. He also did comment down here, I'm super proud of what we accomplished. This is not one I would want to celebrate personally, a massive pre-mine with founders greedier than any central bank and a company that has continually obfuscated their connection to XRP to the point of outright lying. Ouch. Huge Bitcoin maxi talk there. Breezy also commenting on this. This is part of this tweet thread from Cowboy Crypto here. Another one here from Will Cole from back just in January 2025. If I were Andreessen Horowitz or Coinbase, I'd be clawing my money back from the Fairshake pack and creating as much distance from the frauds as Ripple as possible. Terrible decision in the first place, but could be salvaged. Now, guys, it's interesting. Brad Garlinghouse actually did respond to Cowboy Crypto's tweet here about Will Cole. He did comment, thanks for the info. Certainly enlightening that Will Cole is related to Senator Cynthia Lummis. So now Brad Garlinghouse is in the know. I understand that things happen in a senator's day that force schedules to change, but for congressional staff to say unable to reschedule is really troubling when we've been unable to meet with her for about 6 years one-on-one. We're an American company looking to grow the crypto economy in the U.S. to benefit all Americans. I really have to wonder if this was Senator Cynthia Lummis or someone on her staff making this decision. things that make you go, So I don't know, guys. How do you feel about this? Put it down in the comments. Wanted to thank Cowboy Crypto, Breezy here, Brad Garlinghouse, of course, Bill Morgan, and who else? Verson, too. Oh, yeah, and Pompeius for posting that. Even though we're getting sidelined, or at least attempting to be sidelined by senators like Cynthia Lummis, XRP holders are in a great spot still. They will own a slice of Ripple's future cash flows, this courtesy of Smoke here. Read closely. At the end of the day, XRP purchasers have bought effectively a slice of the future cash flows that Ripple would make from the licensing of its transaction settlement system. So guys, stay locked in. You know what you hold. Check this out from William and Mary Law. This is from their review. Ripple's fortunes. Ripple in turn funds its activities through distributions of XRP tokens in return for both investment capital and labor. But at the end of the day, XRP purchasers have bought effectively a slice of the future cash flows that Ripple would make from the licensing of its transaction settlement systems. Were this offered as a tracking stock or an asset securitization, which accomplish effectively the same purpose, there would be little debate that this constitutes a security. So going back to the security claims, we know that has all been cleared, though. However, due to the economic deconstruction of Ripple's business, Ripple has some room to reclaim in its defense against the SEC that it has sold no claims on the company in itself. And again, guys, this is a legal opinion from William and Mary Law from their review. And I just wanted to bring this up to show you guys how big this is in the context of even today, we have senators canceling on Ripple. We have Bitcoin maxis poisoning the well. But guys, I have a feeling we're going to get through this. I don't think this fight is over. And for more information on where I think this market's going to go, follow me at patreon.com/workingmoneychannel. Again, it's really going to depend if we see the real world utility or not. And if you want to help support the channel in another way, I do have the Working Money Channel merch store. Link is in the description of the video. Got a lot of cool merch here for you guys. Going to be adding more shortly. So check it out. That's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.